This is the third battle between Johannes, VB and Carnosaur. The Avars versus Charlemagne. So the Avars bringing... Carnosaur bringing the Avars this time. 4 Avar noble swords up front. Spearmen behind them. Avar foot archers. Avar lancers, 4 of those. I only see 1 Avar horse archer, and that might be a bit light against Charlemagne. But there are 6 foot archers. The thing is, Charlemagne has good cavalry on his side. Let's see what he's brought here. He's brought levy spears up front to meet shields. Good choice. Then we have 4 levy archers. We have a big line of mounted swords and armored swords. They will be able to take a significant amount of fire if they are in shield wall. Shield wall is so important in Charlemagne. So they have the Frankish cavalry. They have the Frankish horsemen, 4 of each. And those two units make it quite hard for the Avars to face the kingdom of Charlemagne in comparison with a lot of other factions, because these Frankish horsemen have a very good charge bonus for their price. The Frankish cavalry has a good charge bonus. They are heavy and they do have a bit of armor, so the Franks can bring a lot of decent melee cavalry. And of course, the decent melee cavalry, if it manages to tie down the Avar lancers, they will do a great job against them. And also, keeping all of these skirmishers alive could be a real challenge for the Avars. And the levy archers also able to screen very well here. And it seems like Carnosaur just favors an all-out rush in this battle, as he did in the previous one. He's sending in his double Avar lancers, blobbing up, and this is bad. This is very bad for the Avar lancers. They don't have much in the way of armor. They're getting surrounded, completely surrounded here by the Frankish cavalry, and the Avar lancers are going to drop very quickly. Over here, getting another engagement. And the mounted swords are moving into shield wall at the last moment. Let's see if they get their bonus. They do get their bonus. The Avar noble swords not in shield wall. So here we'll see the armored swords and the mounted swords do very well against the Avars. Although they are inferior units on the charge, in shield wall things change, of course. The Avar guard is moving up. He's going to take a shit ton of fire now, and he doesn't have a missile block chance, so every single arrow that hits this Avar guard is going to do damage. And we should see him start dropping very quickly once he's eaten a few volleys. There is fire incoming from the Avar foot archers, but the Avars are losing. They're losing the cab fights. They're losing the infantry fights. This is down to not using shield wall, because these Avar noble swords will do well against mounted swords and armored swords. And here comes the Paladin Guardsman. Good unit to have against the Avars. Good missile block, good armor. The Avar Guard tries to hit him in the rear. They do manage to do that. Activating Brace on the Paladin Guards, giving them 39 attack against cavalry. So the Avar Guard is dropping incredibly fast here. Not much the Avars can do at this point. And the headlong rush into a fully fleshed out Charlemagne army plays right into the strength of Charlemagne. Charlemagne is durable, has a lot of high armor infantry, has good cavalry, and when you are outmatched in cavalry, throwing away that cavalry is a very dangerous thing to do. Now I can't see the Avar general here. I think he's off the field already, so now the Paladin Guards are going to do a tour of victory through the Avar foot archers. The Avar foot archers haven't been able to do too much in this battle. The Frankish spears crash into the Avar archers, and we see quite a few blobs here of Avar noble swords and spearmen, and same thing over here. So these spearmen are not able to support the cab fights. The Avar noble swordsmen are fighting units in shield wall, and that shield wall, if you engage a shield wall with your melee swords, that's the kind of mistake that that makes you lose a battle. The Avar noble swords even exhausted now, and of course when you're in the shield wall, another decisive victory. So very convincing display there by Johannes VB. If this was one of the first tournaments of Carnosaur, it can be a daunting prospect to face a player like Johannes, because Johannes is quite good. He's brought, like, his armies are on point. Very good Kingdom of Charlemagne army. It's not that this is a bad Avar army per se, but the Avars are not necessarily a strong faction against the Kingdom of Charlemagne, because the Kingdom of Charlemagne is so damn durable. They can bring a lot of stuff to the proverbial table. So Carnosaur, I like that you're aggressive, that you're rushing into the enemy, but you really need to consider what your units can and what they cannot do when you do so. Because when you're rushing, you have to be certain that you're going to be able to break the enemy lines. And when you're rushing into a shield wall and you don't have Dane units, you don't have Dane axes, and you don't have berserkers, it's just not going to be possible to do that in Age of Charlemagne. You could do it in Attila with shock infantry very easily. There were a lot of Danax units around. You had the Agathosai warriors. You had shock cavalry. In Kingdom of Charlemagne, you need to engage with a bit more caution, because the engagements take longer, and you don't have very many units that are able to break an entire center line quickly. Strength and honor.